What's the good word, y'all? Welcome to New York Jets Syndicate channel. It's your boy DKB here, and we have some interesting stuff going on with Zach Wilson. I don't know if maybe he's preparing for an eventual trade. Maybe he's already kind of putting some fillers out there in case there's an eventual release going on. But, you know, to dive into a situation a little bit, for starters, his mom, I think it was an Instagram post or something, but she basically highlighted Zach Wilson took the family out to Tennessee to go and I guess, you know, vacation as well as check out some homes or something along those lines. And it's why Tennessee, right? I'm sure Tennessee is a great place. There's been a connection that maybe he could be traded to the Titans or something along those lines, but still doesn't seem realistic to me, right? When you think about the Titans, they just went and invested another high pick in a quarterback. They drafted Malik Willis a year ago. And so, I mean, I guess you could put him in the mold, right? The Baltimore Ravens have five, former first-round receivers. I'm sure the Titans wouldn't mind having multiple first, second round, multiple first and then a third round selection. Actually, the guy that they picked up isn't a first rounder, but either way, multiple high picks. Zach Wilson being the former first rounder, Malik Willis. Can't remember the other guy's name, but him being, I believe they were both picked in the third round between the new guy and Malik Willis. So you set yourself up to at least try to have a very competitive position, but it just doesn't make a lot of sense. They recently changed their coaching staffs, of course, as we know. Todd Downing and Keith Carter coming our way. They do have a very strong running game for Zach Wilson, but you have to imagine he's not going to go there and just win a quarterback competition right away. And so maybe this is him kind of putting a tester out in case things with the New York Jets don't work out. Zach Wilson has technically 3 years under control of the New York Jets if we choose to exercise his fifth-year option. Now, everything is dependent on what happens with Aaron Rodgers. If he stays with us for 2 years, we're still in an interesting situation because the New York Jets may or may not see him in live game time, right? Unless there's a situation where maybe we've already punched our entry into the playoffs and we aren't able to realistically contend for home field advantage, maybe we let Zach Wilson play however many games is left in the season. But if not, and we can play for home field advantage and we take that opportunity, we don't have many blowout wins or something like that, we're not going to see him from a fan perspective. And the New York Jets will have to make a decision purely based on what they're seeing out of practices, feedback from the coaching staff. And I would say it will probably behoove them to take feedback from the personnel as well, because it wasn't until Garrett Wilson really blew up after a string of bad performances last year that we even started getting bits and pieces of information about how bad Zach Wilson was performing over the course of his practices during the offseason that bled into the regular season. So, you know, do you want to take it's really a matter of, do you want to take the chance and the opportunity to be in a situation like we just seen the Packers place themselves into with Jordan Love, where you've seen him a number of times. It hasn't been overly impressive. Jordan Love hasn't been anywhere near as disastrous as what we've seen with Zach Wilson, which makes it that much worse for the New York Jets that you're going to have to make a critical decision on Zach Wilson, who you're investing all this time and resource in during this rebuilding phase to try to still maintain his, quarterback of the future vision with him at the helm. And so it's honestly a scary proposition to not see him whatsoever, not only over just this first year, but if we can get Aaron Rodgers to actually play 2 years, then we're exactly looking at that situation. And then the conversation becomes, what do you do with the fifth-year option? And depending on that, will you go the Jordan Love route and maybe you try to extend him? He's not going to get anything close to what Jordan Love got, of course, but do you try to give him extension so you can at least get a 2-year snapshot before you commit big money to a guy like Zach Wilson? But on the other hand of that, which, kind of where this discussion is leading based on that post, Would the New York Jets eventually end up trading Zach Wilson or cutting him before that even comes to fruition? It wouldn't be the best idea, right? The whole purpose for trying to keep Zach Wilson right now, and maybe this is just to build up trade value, is that you wanted to make 100% sure that you didn't make a wrong decision. You just didn't have the right coaching personnel in place to bring out his greatness. Maybe you do ultimately end up cutting bait, but you don't have that young guy behind Aaron Rodgers that could also be learning, working, and developing his tools, which is why many people wanted us to take a shot in the draft on a quarterback that maybe has some upside, has some tools. And right now, the best bet that we have if we decide to move on from Zach Wilson is Boyle and Streveler. So not anything that's going to excite anybody in terms of taking a NFL game over and stuff like we have with Aaron Rodgers, and at least with the ability that Zach Wilson has. So I don't know. We'll see if maybe we get some more of this. We're going to be reporting back to training camp here pretty soon. I believe the 19th or the 20th is when we start beginning our practices. But we'll stay tuned. We'll see if Zach Wilson continues to make any kind of interesting moves like this. Maybe it's ultimately nothing and I'm reading into it too much, but let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Zach Wilson checking out some stuff in Tennessee. And yeah, I'll catch you guys again. Peace.